Hi everyone, welcome back to the Skull Survivor devlog. Today I have purchased the ChatGPT license, the $20 a month thing, and it has the GPT-4 UI. So I'm going to give it a shot and try and get everything going from that perspective. There's definitely some stuff that we can check out here. And here, I'll just show you a little bit. This is pretty cool. So when you start paying for ChatGPT Plus, you get the 3.5 model as before, but then you get essentially 25 requests to GPT-4 every 4 hours, 3 hours, every 3 hours. And you can also have it browse the internet with Bing or, get other plugins for it as well. So pretty interesting stuff. Today, I just want to see if we can do a little bit with a piece of the game and see what that looks like. So first thing I want to do is take a look at one of the weapons that I've been working on. So in my unlocks here, I have added a number of new weapons, but the one that I want to work on today is the nature staff. And so this guy right here is essentially part of, I kind of want it to be a way to collect souls faster. So as enemies die, they drop a soul, and we want those souls to kind of be vacuumed up. So we're going to take a look at what that might look like. So we also have the weapons setting as well. Inside that, we have the unlock menu options, and so we can get the unlock level, which would just be 1 at that point from the game data. And yeah, just basically use that. And then there's like this radius multiplier on the unlocked weapon. And so maybe what we want is a multiplier for the incoming or the soul absorption radius. So what I want to do is kind of something in the same pattern, and then create some unit tests around that. So the setting for itself will come out here, but we will need to obviously do that maybe in the gem pickup. For example, gem or collectible, maybe. I have to go look and see what the collectible is for the pickup. So they have collectibles, EXP pickup, which is what I have dubbed the souls. They kind of glow and fall out and all that other stuff. This guy right here basically has a distance to the player, and then if it's within that, then there's like a magnet timer on here. The position just moves towards that. And then if the distance is within a certain amount. So right now, it's being consumed, or it's being sucked in no matter what. And I think what we want to do is have that happen a little bit faster. And so raising the event. You can also tell that this is a class that we haven't unit tested yet. So we may want to create some EXP pickup modifiers as well. And then we might want to prevent it from being absorbed at first. So if it's been consumed and if the player is null, then it won't on trigger enter. Oh, hey, okay. So the player avatar actually, so this is how it's done. the player is the trigger at which it starts being absorbed, and so it gets absorbed based on whether or not the trigger is entered. So that's pretty interesting. And there is a box collider, is a trigger, and yeah, so you can kind of see that's a pretty big absorption radius. And maybe the first thing we want to do is just remove this component, and we're going to add a sphere collider. And then that way we can have a little bit more granular control over it. Let's go ahead and make that a 1, and let's just take a look at that behavior, because then we can modify it to make the new staff absorb it a little bit better. So as long as the domain can load, or reloading the domain. All right, so here we are. We have the new weapon. I'll make sure that I can grab it later, but we'll just take a look at the default behavior. And we'll jump in here. I need to add some loading screens for sure. Okay, so I think before that modification, these things were picked up like almost right away. Now we basically have to go and grab them or get very close to them to absorb them, which I think is much closer to the survivor-like style. And then we want them to increase in size if we've selected that weapon. And so, yeah, you get like a little bit of movement, not too much. The gold pieces get collected much faster though. But yeah, so that's what that looks like. Well, I think we're pretty happy with that. And so let's see. So I like that. I think what we're going to need to do is put this guy under test though. So exp pickup, we're going to say exp pickup tests. Yeah. Let's go find a good test to let this live next to. Yeah, I guess it doesn't really matter what we select. So I'm going to go open source code. And then in here, yeah, we have all these tests. So the edit mode tests folder. Yeah, so environment, probably new file. And then we're going to say exp pickup tests.cs. And what I'd want is maybe something in a similar style. And what we need is probably just a new text file here to build a prompt and just say, with the given context, and we say write tests in the style above to device the current functionality of exp pickup .cs. Okay, and we're going to throw that in GPT-4 and see what we get. Might take up a little bit of time. Oh, it really wants to put mocks in here. That's fascinating. Yeah, it does go get it from the prefab, grabs the exp pickup. Test my additional methods according to the example. Okay, so let's copy the code, throw into our test here, take a look at what it's doing. So we have the prefab here, asset prefabs player exp pickup. I'm pretty sure that's not where it's located, so we gotta wait for that to load up, and then we gotta go find out where it is actually. Exp pickup, copy path, and drop that in. Pickup event mock. Let's see, we need a player in here as well. Oh, but we, all right. Let's see. We're gonna say, don't use mocks. Add the Escort, which has the player avatar on it, and then move it within the collider at less than 1 unit distance. Let's see how that goes. It wants to write unity tests and not unit tests. Use regular unit tests instead of unity tests, like the first example. Of course, I missed it. Player prefabs. Simulate the on trigger event. Call update. Yeah, and it uses regular. Yep, okay, I like that. So let's go back in here, take a look at one more time. All right, so we have the exp prefab, which we're gonna grab from over here. Copy path. And so exp pickup, and then we have the player, and then let's see, the setup and teardown we don't really need. We do need asset database stuff, so it's probably like all of this stuff is probably expected. And our on trigger enter will make public. Our update will make public. And exp pickup dot consumed assert true. But the reality is that once we consume, we want to know the pickup event. Because then the rest of the system will use that pickup event. And that's a game event, so we could probably add that to the test. So we could say something like, well, exp pickup dot on enable. What's missing here? So we're gonna want that as well, public. And then we'll make this public as well. And then we can actually attach to that event here. Oops. Pickup event. plus equals int amount. Dot add listener. Game event. And our game events have listeners, raise, unregister, a register. Here, dot register listener. Action. Let's do a regular action here. And then we're going to say something like string consumed equals, or let's say result not consumed. We're going to say result equals consumed. And then we're going to say R equal. Okay. Let's give it a shot, everybody. Oh. All right. Something went really funky here. All right. Open error line. Prefab. Get select level layout data. Source code for the test. So the Escort prefab in the player. Inspector. Enemy target manager. Da, da, da. Enemy manager. Well, this went totally off the rails. Very interesting. Player options, level collected, get selected level. To do a little bit of debugging here. Wow. Oh, in the past I've seen prefabs lose references. Yeah, I'm not really sure why so much would have fallen apart here. All right, here we are. So player options is populated. Level collection is populated. Get selected level, layout data, refs, no source available. It just blows up. Okay, let's try one more time. Bam. F11. Get selected level. Current level is grasslands. The level itself is null. Get level by name. Ah, okay. That was my bad, everybody. I'm sorry. The get level by name is using the level name, and the level names have changed because I was doing a little bit of updating my levels. So everywhere that we had the grasslands, now it's the verdant valley of shadows. So I am going to have to go and update all those tests. My bad. Open source code. Grasslands, verdant valley of shadows. It's my fault. But you get to watch me make that mistake. Grasslands is verdant valley of shadows, and then the old house is the whispers of the forgotten. I should have just used the level collection in the tests rather than having the test names hard-coded. But luckily this is pretty easy to go in and fix. This one looks different. Oh, because gold sword is now also different. The Sunfire Saber. Oh, yeah, actually that's right. The name of the prefab is actually different. It's the selecting of the Sunfire Saber that was important there. This is what I get for not running the tests before. Get selected weapon, weapon name. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and debug this one as well. So silly. Okay, so we got a weapon, the Sunfire Saber. It's not empty, so we're gonna go in here. And of course the name is Golden Sword. But, yes. Okay, so this is this name instead, and that's what the test needs. Open source control, or open source. It's this one. Okay. I think that was just a rename from what it originally said as sword. And that was because of the additional items. Open error line, da da da. I'm sorry for the hard pivot, I guess, but here we are. We got grasslands and old house. These are all going to be the new names. Verdant Valley of Shadows. The old house. Whispers of the Forgotten. Whispers of the Forgotten. And then finally the Stone Road. Stonemason's Odyssey. Wow. Oops. Just jumping through all of these. 51 are passing now. So silly. Grasslands, grasslands, grasslands. Old house, grasslands. Old house here. We're getting there, everybody. Almost done. This is the shotgun surgery anti-pattern, in case you were wondering what that anti-pattern looks like. And we could have avoided this, and maybe I'll make a refactoring video after this, moving the items into the list or getting them out of the player objects so that we can go directly against the data. Last little bit here, I'm sure. Sword, axe, and I am sure that this is this name now instead. All right. All right. 60 unit tests passing. Close all, cancel. This is just a bunch of, this is my prompt. Okay, so close others. All right, so we have created a vice test. In our test setup, we go ahead and get the new player and the player avatar. We destroy on the tear down. We get the EXP pickup. We know it's not consumed. We call on enable. We register a listener. We put the player right next to the EXP pickup. We simulate the trigger event. Let's see. I don't want to check if it's null. I just want the test to fail. We move the player to the position of the pickup. Simulate 2 seconds at 60 FPS. I love it. And that's what, because do the update and the update, but we have a timer on here. But yeah, that's okay. Because we know that the update was called. We don't need any of this as well, I think. So we can just, I think that test will still pass even if we just call update once. Yep. Okay. And then we know it's consumed. And then if I comment out this listener, it should fail just because we never watched it go red at first. Yep, failed right there. I'm gonna drag it up so y'all can see. Yep. One or more child test has errors. Oops. And then in here, consumed versus not consumed. Add the listener back in, and I know it fires the event, which means that the collection. So that was Vice testing the existing functionality, and I'll split this up so that maybe in the next video we'll add another test, maybe to increase the radius of and because of the collider, we don't need to really test the functionality inside the EXP. What we need to do is just check that the radius of the collider grows. And so that should be, fairly straightforward. But I like the example of device testing. So I'll see you all next time. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and thanks for watching.